You know, I used to believe that big life changes came from big, dramatic decisions. Like one day you wake up, decide you're going to get in shape, and suddenly you're running marathons. Or you start a side hustle and overnight you're pulling in six figures. But here's the truth. Life doesn't usually work that way. Real change, the kind that sticks, happens slowly. It's built quietly, in the small choices you make every single day. The problem is, because these changes are so small, we often don't notice them, for better or for worse. And that's exactly what James Clear's book Atomic Habits is all about. It's not just a book about habits. It's a book about how tiny actions can transform your entire life. And today, I'm going to share these ideas in a way you can actually use, starting right now. Why this matters. A story to remember. Let me take you back to 2003. The British cycling team was terrible. They hadn't won a Tour de France in over 100 years. In fact, they were so bad that the top bike manufacturers in Europe refused to sell them bikes. They didn't want their brand associated with failure. Then, a man named Dave Brailsford stepped in as their coach. Instead of trying to completely overhaul everything overnight, he focused on something he called the aggregation of marginal gains. That meant getting just 1% better in every single area. They swapped out their bike seats for more comfort, tested different massage gels for faster recovery, even taught the riders how to wash their hands properly to avoid getting sick before races. Individually, these changes were tiny, almost laughable, but stacked together, they were unstoppable. Within 5 years, the British cycling team won the Tour de France, and then they kept winning. Olympic gold medals, world championships, from laughingstock to legend. All because of one simple principle. Small improvements, consistently applied, lead to extraordinary results. The power of 1%. Here's the math. If you get just 1% better every day for a year, you'll be 37 times better by the end of it. But if you get 1% worse each day, you'll spiral down faster than you realize. And this is why habits are so powerful. They are compounding in nature. Good habits compound for you. Bad habits compound against you. Think about money. If you invest just a little, but do it consistently, you don't just add to your wealth. It grows exponentially. Habits work the same way. The tricky part is, in the moment, small changes feel invisible. Skip the gym today? You don't suddenly gain 20 pounds. Eat one salad? You're not suddenly fit. But over time, those tiny actions add up to massive differences. A moment of self-reflection. I want you to think about your own life for a second. What's one habit, good or bad, that you've been carrying for years? Maybe you check your phone the moment you wake up. Maybe you tell yourself you'll start eating healthier on Monday, and then Monday never comes. Or maybe you've been meaning to read more, but Netflix just keeps winning. We all have these patterns. And James Clear says, the reason we fail to change isn't because we lack motivation or discipline. It's because our systems are broken. How habits are formed, the habit loop. Every habit you have, good or bad, follows the same 4-step loop. Cue, craving, response, reward. Let's break it down. You get a notification on your phone, that's the cue. You feel that little itch to check it, craving. You pick up your phone and scroll Instagram, response. You see likes, comments, or new posts, reward. Your brain loves this cycle, so it repeats it. If you want to build a good habit, make the cue obvious, make the craving attractive, make the response easy, and make the reward satisfying. If you want to break a bad habit, you do the opposite. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. A personal story, making a habit stick. When I first tried to wake up early, I failed miserably. I'd set an alarm, but my phone was right next to my bed. So half asleep me would just swipe and go back to sleep. Then I remembered James Clear's idea. Make it obvious. Make it easy. So I bought a cheap alarm clock and left my phone in the kitchen overnight. Guess what? I started waking up on time. Not because I suddenly became a morning person, but because I made it harder to fail. One small tweak, huge difference. Building good habits, step by step. The easiest way to start a new habit is called habit stacking. It's simple. You pair the habit you want with something you already do. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will floss one tooth. After I pour my morning coffee, I will read one page of a book. The trick is, start so small it's almost laughable. Want to get fit? Start with one push-up. Want to write a book? Start with one sentence a day. It sounds silly, but here's why it works. You're lowering the barrier to starting. Because once you start, momentum takes over. Another key is environment design. If you want to eat healthier, put fruit on the counter and hide the chips in the pantry. If you want to play guitar more, keep it on a stand in the middle of the room instead of locked in a case under your bed. Your environment shapes your behavior far more than willpower ever will. Breaking bad habits, making it hard to fail. Let's be real, breaking bad habits is harder than starting good ones. Why? Because bad habits usually give us an immediate reward. Scrolling TikTok feels good now, even if it wastes your evening. Eating that slice of cake feels amazing now, even if it slows your health goals. To break them, you need to flip the script. Make them invisible, remove the cues. Make them unattractive, remind yourself of the downsides. Make them difficult, add friction. Make them unsatisfying, remove the instant reward. For example, if you want to watch less TV, unplug it after every use and put the remote in another room. If you want to spend less money online, delete your saved credit card info so buying takes extra steps. Small barriers make a big difference. Identity-based habits, the game changer. Most people set goals like, I want to lose 20 pounds or I want to save $10,000. But James Clear says the real magic happens when you shift your focus from outcomes to identity. Instead of I want to lose 20 pounds, say, I'm the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts. Instead of I want to save $10,000, say, I'm the kind of person who manages money wisely. When your habits are tied to your identity, you don't have to force them anymore. They become part of who you are. Think about it. You don't have to force yourself to brush your teeth. You do it because it's simply who you are, a person who keeps their teeth clean. That's the shift that changes everything. The power of small wins. In the beginning, your progress will be invisible. You'll go to the gym for a week and not see much change. You'll write for a month and your book won't be done. But here's the thing, the work you're doing is not wasted. You're laying the foundation. Like heating up an ice cube, nothing seems to happen at first, until you hit the melting point. Your habits are that heat. Keep applying it, and eventually change becomes visible. So here's the big takeaway from Atomic Habits. You don't need a complete life overhaul to change your life. You just need small, consistent actions, done over time. Start small. One push-up. One page of a book. One glass of water instead of soda. Those little wins aren't little at all. They're proof that you're becoming the kind of person you want to be. Maybe you've tried before and failed. But your past doesn't define your future. Your identity is not fixed. No matter how stuck you feel right now, you can start building a life you're proud of, one tiny habit at a time. So, what's your first 1% today?